Hey, what's up guys, Marco here, welcome back to another lesson. Today we're going to do something pretty awesome. We're going to use the Canon D to create something cool and unique on the electric guitar. Now of course guys, I'm not trying to disrespect Pachelbel. The Canon D is a beautiful classical piece and we're going to be playing it on the electric guitar, plus we're going to be playing it in the key of G major. But the goal here is not to learn the Canon in D, of course. We're just gonna use the Canon in D to create something unique. So from the Canon in D, we are really going to take two things: the beautiful chord progression and also the concept of variation. So we're gonna play the same chord progression, and every time we start again, we're gonna add more and more things. Now we're gonna be playing 5 variations, which is going to be pretty cool. We're gonna start with the chord progression and then I'll tell you more about it. So the first thing, just learn the chords. We have a G major chord, D major, E minor, B minor, C major, G, C, and the D major chord. So this is our chord progression. We're of course going to repeat it a few times, and every time we're gonna add something new. Now step 1, let's just learn the power chord. We're gonna play it like this. So the concept is very simple. Just learn the chord progression, play with the power chord. We're just playing 2 notes. So the G power chord, the D, the A minor, and the B minor. Obviously, I'm saying E minor, B minor, but we're just playing the power chord, so it's not really a major or a minor chord. The C, the G, the C, and the D. Now we're gonna approach these chords quite rhythmically. We're gonna have a downstroke on the 5th string twice, another downstroke on the 4th string, then we have a downstroke on the 5th string and an upstroke on the 4th string. So I'm gonna do it slowly. Now the cool thing is that we're gonna keep the same picking pattern for the other chords as well, so it should be easy to play that. Of course, when we play the D, we're gonna have the picking pattern on the 6th and the 5th string. Now idea number 2, we're gonna keep the same kind of shape and form, but we're gonna make it a little bit more melodic. In fact, we're gonna add a 3 notes melody like this. Now one thing that I love about the Canon is the fact that it's so easy to come up with a musical idea and then repeat the same musical idea over the other chords. In fact, in the example that I just played, I was playing the chord, but also 2 more notes. So I have the chord, but also a quite short melody. So the cool thing is that we can use the same approach on the other chords. Of course, we're gonna have to follow the notes of the G major scale. So I'm not saying that you can symmetrically play the same thing. The chord shape and the melody shape will change, but not the structure. So for the second chord, the D, the E minor, and the B minor, the C major, and the G major, back to the C, and we finish with the D major. We're just gonna play the scale, the G major scale, starting from the note D. Now, idea number 3, heavily inspired by the Jimi Hendrix chords with the hammer-on and pull-off. Now, we're gonna keep the musical idea over 2 chords. And what I mean by that is, we're gonna have a musical idea on the first chord, and a different musical idea on the second chord. But then we're gonna repeat these 2 musical ideas for the other chords. So let's just check it out slowly. For the first chord, the G major, we're gonna use this shape. We're gonna start with the root note, and then we're gonna go up to the major second, and a hammer on to the major third, and then we're gonna have this phrase. So it's basically on the 4th string on the fret number 12, a hammer on, a pull off, and then we go back to the 5th string, and we play fret number 14 and 12. If you want, you can also play the 3rd string with a bar chord, but it'll make the thing a little bit more challenging. Now that we have the phrase, we move on to the next chord, which is going to have this idea. So we have the root note, a slide, back to the fret number 12, and the fret number 10. So this is the musical idea for the second chord. Now the cool thing is that we're going to repeat the same thing for the other chords. So for the E minor chord, we have the same approach. Now, of course, we have to follow the scale, so we can't symmetrically play the same thing. We're gonna have to adjust it. So this is the E minor. It's a beautiful phrase. And then for the B minor, we're gonna pick up the musical idea that we played on the second chord. Now we go back to the C major, which has the same idea as the G major, so the G major. Now here we're gonna keep the rhythm, but we're gonna play the melody all on the 5th string. Back to the C major. And we finish with the same phrase, the same scale. Now, idea number 4, I believe, we're gonna switch to chords, and we're gonna use open triads, which is probably one of the most common ways to play this chord progression. And it's pretty cool. Let me just show you the chord shapes. We're gonna use this idea twice. The first time just with the chords, and then we're gonna add a melody to it as well. So the chords, G major, D, E minor, B minor, C, G, C, and D. So memorize the chord shapes with the diagrams, and then use the picking pattern. We're gonna do it like this. You got a downstroke, up, down, up, and down. Then we have a downstroke and an upstroke. So we finish with an upstroke, and there is a reason for that, because after that we're gonna start again with a downstroke. You can apply this picking pattern to the other chords as well, which is pretty cool. The next variation is pretty cool. We're gonna keep the same chord progression, but we're gonna add a melody like this. Now again, we're going to repeat the same thing over and over, and so the melody will always start from the third of each one of these chords. For example, the G major would start from the major third, which is the note B. And based on the G major scale, we're gonna play 3 notes, 3 ascending notes. So it's down, up, and then we play the melody. Now you might want to change the position when you play the melody. I like to do that. Then the second chord. So as you can see, the melody always starts from the third of each chord. And we finish with this phrase, still the G major scale, starting from the note F sharp. And we finish with the fret number 15. Now this is when you can hear the backing track slowing down, and we're still playing chords, but we're only going to use 2 strings. It's a really melodic section. We're going to play the phrase all the way up to the fret number 15. And then we have these 2 chords on the second and the first string. So for the D major chord, we have these 2 notes, E minor and B minor, C major, G, C, and the D major again. Now we're going to pause on this one, and then we're going to play a D major chord. It's more of a power chord because we're only playing the A, the D, the A, and the D. Now this is when we get to the last section, which is, heavily inspired by Jimi Hendrix. And there are a lot of things happening, and the cool thing is that we start with the phrase that we've been playing for a while. So it's the same G major scale starting from the note D. And then we have these chords along with the melody and a lot of different, techniques. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, guys. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you like more of these electric guitar lessons, which I am really, really enjoying. And as always, take it step by step, keep practicing slowly, and I'll see you soon. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys.